Yeah, it's dark.
The moon landing happened, Jake.
Real dad shit, dog.
Don't fuck with me or I'ma fuck with you.
For all the emo sad girl. I want to touch bellies with this man.
We have a special guest today, metalcore clown boy himself, Blake. What's going on, man?
Not too much, man. How you guys doing?
Doing good. So I want you to just give a little introduction about yourself. Tell the people what you do, because I guarantee you that a lot of our listeners know who you are.
I mean, I don't know, man. There's not much to say. You know, like, I just post, like, you know, music news. I started doing album reviews within the past year, so that's been pretty fun. You know, and just talk about music and, you know, having a little community where we can just, you know, discuss all that stuff.
Dude, that's awesome. And like I said before we started recording, I've been following you for a while, and you help me stay up to date so I'm not slacking on stuff that comes out. And I love just to hear your opinions on music, so I'm glad we were able to make this happen.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
We're just going to roll like we usually do. We're going to talk about some new music today. We're going to talk about an album that came out. We'll save the album comments until we get there. But let's start with some of the singles that came out. Blake, I actually asked you before we started recording, what songs, if there were any that I did not plan to talk about that you wanted us to talk about. And one of them was Dream State by Funeral Palace. So him and I listened to that song today on the way in because we hadn't gotten a chance to listen to it yet. But I'm just going to start with my opening remarks about it. I thought it was great. I have never heard of them before. I've never listened to their music. And I was really happy with what I heard. I loved the combination of just melodic metalcore that existed in that track. And you can educate me, but is that how a lot of their music sounds outside of that track?
Honestly, yeah. They've had a pretty... I got into them with their last record, Run.
Okay.
So I haven't heard their, first record or anything. But within the past, that record and this stuff, they've had a pretty consistent sound.
Okay.
You know? And they always their choruses, man, just all the time.
Yeah.
If you haven't listened to Run, you totally should.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the things I noticed about the track was the chorus and just how well it was. And that just seems to be a reoccurring theme here lately with bands just figuring out that the one thing you need to make a song good is a good hook. I mean, that is just like the top of the priority list.
Well, some bands.
With some bands, yeah. At least the bands we've been discussing the most, bands that you and I have been listening to for a long time.
Yeah, and I always love finding new music of some kind. I mean, it used to be on, I said it last time, it used to be on TikTok all the time. I would find new music, but it doesn't really come across as much anymore.
Yeah, it's becoming lesser and lesser, and I don't really know why, because some of those bands that we discovered on TikTok were lifers, like bands that'll forever be in my rotation.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had a little bit of a internet problem in between talking about that song. So I just wanted to summarize that track just by saying that I really enjoyed it. And that is a hard recommendation from me to go check this band out because they are doing big things. And with those kind of choruses and just the song itself just reminded me of something that could be huge, like in modern day scene culture. Like that's a band that could blow up easily. Kind of had like a little old school like Dayseeker vibe to it, I thought.
I can see that.
Yeah, that song's kind of different too from all the other singles. I think there's 3 or 4.
Okay.
Maybe 5.
Gotcha.
I think 4 for the album. And that one's kind of a different vibe from the other ones.
Oh, sick.
But,
okay.
Yeah, you should listen to the other ones too.
Dude.
Memphis, is that how you say it? That one rips.
We'll check out the whole album when it comes out and talk about it on the show because I liked enough of what I heard to move forward. All right, let's talk about Suffocate City featuring Spencer Charnas of Ice Nine Kills by the... Did I not write down the band name? Holy cow.
Funeral Portrait.
Funeral Portrait. Thank you, Blake. I wrote down I wrote down Suffocate City twice instead of the band. But if
I feel that, man. When I'm writing down like all the releases coming up, I get them all wrong all the time.
you can ask him, I'm horrible with like song titles, so I have to write them down or else it's game over.
And most of the time he doesn't write them down.
Yeah, I'm not good at them either, man.
All right. Well, anyway, so have you had a chance to see the music video and listen to this song, Blake?
I didn't watch the video. I did listen to the tune. It's not really my thing, personally. To be fair, like, I feel like a lot of Spencer's like features just don't really like do a lot for me.
Okay.
You know, I love him like in Ice 9, of course.
Right.
But I don't know, like even the one he did with like Escape the Fate didn't do much for me. You know, I don't know. I can't really explain it.
See, that's interesting because the song that Spencer did with Escape the Fate was my favorite Escape the Fate song in probably 6 years. And
Really?
I can't even tell you why. I'm not even going to say it was Spencer that made it that way. I think it was just I loved the instrumental of that song. Whereas some of their other stuff had felt a little stale over the last few releases.
For sure. For sure. And like with that one, they kind of did like the kind of like, what do you call it? Like the circus kind of vibe. The theater core kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, which obviously like Spencer does very well. So
for sure.
I can see like why people liked it.
Yeah. So, okay. Wasn't really his thing. What about you? What did you think of the song?
I kind of liked it. It had like I don't know, like an earlier 2000s kind of vibe. For some reason, I feel like his vocals kind of fit on it.
Okay. This is the best part about podcasting when we have completely different opinions going on right now.
It is a little bit out of his norm, but I think it fit well in that song. Like his voice didn't seem like it was out of place or anything, and it also wasn't. I feel like it wasn't his normal tone that he uses.
Okay. All right. So I'm kind of in the middle. I thought it was off-putting when I first heard Spencer's vocals in the track, but that was on first listen. The second time I listened to it with the video, and by the way, Blake, in the video, Spencer's like in a jock jacket holding a football and has a cigarette in his ear. So it's like perfect for the actual song itself. I felt it was out of place, but I felt like it was more of a step forward that we haven't heard before from Spencer. And I think that that's why it worked for me the second time, but not the first time.
And I think you listen to a lot more Ice 9 than I do now.
Probably.
Which is weird because that was a total switch.
It was.
But I don't know. It felt like it fit for me.
To be fair, Ice 9 is one of the few metalcore bands that my wife enjoys. So when we're on road trips, we can
listen
just
to it a lot.
A lot of Ice 9 kills. But yeah, okay. Well, that's interesting. So, and we forgot to give the first song a score. And Blake, we give our songs out of 5. So for that song, I'm going to give it a 3.75 out of 5.
I was going to give it a 4.
Okay. Yeah. 4. Blake?
I'd probably give it a 3 as well.
Okay. All right. Now for this song with Spencer and the Funeral Portrait, I was a little bit higher on it than I thought I'd be, as I just mentioned. The second listen really made me happy. So as of right now, I'm going to give it a 4.25 out of 5.
I think I'll go with like a 3.5 on that.
Okay. Yeah. What about you, Blake?
Oh, a 3. I didn't know. Okay, I thought we were rating this one before.
Oh, no.
The other one I give a 4. The other one I give a 4.
There we
this
go.
one I give a 3.
Okay, cool.
So we're all above halfway on both songs.
Yeah.
That's good. Let's talk about Stand Atlantic featuring Polaris, Criminal. Dude, I cannot, and you posted about this, Blake, so I'm going to just put this out there. Not enough fucking people are talking about Stand Atlantic's new album.
Facts.
Dude, it's going to be like the home team, Bring Me the Horizon, and Stand Atlantic that are going to be all fighting for album of the year for me. I mean, truly.
Yeah. Man, all the stuff off the new record has been just... And, like, some of it, I didn't, like, really mess with at first. Like, Sex on the Beach, I was kind of, like, indifferent on at first, but it grew on me so much. And, like, because they're going, like, heavier, I was indifferent on that, too. because I was so like, I loved Fear, like their pop punk stuff.
Yes.
But I don't know, like now it's like all I'm listening
How
to.
long have you been listening to Stand Atlantic, Jake?
Not long. I don't listen to them a whole lot, actually. I started listening when we went to that show.
With Confidence, Stand Atlantic, and
yeah.
Census. Yeah. R.I.P. With Confidence. So, but you know enough to know that a Polaris feature is kind of out of left field.
Yes.
Okay. So when we all, I don't know if you were listening to them then, but you and I probably were, Blake, when they released the track list for the new album. Do you remember when they posted that? And we saw that Polaris feature, and at least for me, I was like, holy shit, that's going to work, and I don't even know how.
Yeah, like, it's kind of a unique pairing, because I didn't think that, you know, they would put out anything that, like, justified, like, heavy enough to justify a Polaris feature, right? So...
Yeah. And then Warzone came out, and it started to make sense.
Yeah, exactly. And to be fair, like, the song has, like, heavy moments. I wouldn't say overall it's, like, super heavy. You know what I mean? So, like,
I would argue that Warzone is heavier than the song with Polaris Criminal.
Yeah, like, it's got that, like...
in a way.
That, like, low bass, dark pop kind of vibe. It kind of reminds me of, what, like, Bad Omens were doing on Miracle. Like, instrumentally.
Yeah.
A bit.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Which I like.
Yeah.
And they've been doing that with, like, on the song Girls and stuff, too. And I, like, love it. So...
Dude, Girls and Sex on the Beach were two of the songs that I wasn't sure about when they first came out.
Yeah.
But I am a Lynn Gunn stan, so I forced myself to like that song.
It's one of her better features, man.
It is, for sure. The last feature I even remember like listening to with her on it was the song with Tonight Alive. I don't even remember what the song's called anymore. But it was way, like, back 5 or 6 years ago, probably.
If I texted Emily right now, she'd tell me, like that huge Tonight Alive. No. Anyway, sorry.
But anyway. Yeah, no, so have you seen the video for this song?
There's a video for this song?
Yes, there is.
Oh, man. No, I haven't seen it.
So it's Stand Atlantic and Polaris in a bowling alley.
Sounds like vibe.
Dude, they just, and we were talking, you and I were talking, Jake, and we were like, why don't more bands do this?
Yeah, that must have been like one of the like best, cheapest things. Like, like how much to like rent this place after you close?
Just rent all the lanes and for a few hours and just fucking jam.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, they did a whole lot of, I think the thing they were going for is like Stand Atlantic was sucking the whole time.
Yeah.
Like their whole team sucked. And then Polaris comes in and bowls like nothing but strikes and a perfect game.
Now, so the video was sick. You got to watch it. The song itself is amazing. I absolutely love this song. I think it's my favorite of the singles, although it hasn't been out that long, so it could change.
I respect
We'll see.
that. I respect
So
that.
what was your take on the song? When you first heard it was announced, and then when you heard the song itself?
Well, when it was announced, obviously, I was like super amped to hear it. I didn't think they were going to release it as a single, but I guess a lot of bands release the features as singles. But anyways, when I first heard it, I was like kind of indifferent. I was like, because I thought it was going to be heavier. But after a few listens, I was like, yeah, this just like works. Because like you have Polaris doing their thing, but Stand Atlantic is still doing theirs. Like they're not sacrificing that to make a track for Polaris.
Like Bonnie's not trying to come out here and scream and compete with the singer of Polaris.
Yeah, and she's doing what she's like been doing like super well across the singles, with kind of like her like lower voice, like the lower tone stuff, the kind of like talking almost, you know, the whispers and
kind
stuff.
of that Bad Omens influence again.
Exactly. So I absolutely love it. I don't know if it's like my favorite of the singles. I think Girls takes that for me.
Okay.
But I would say it's definitely top 3 of the singles. For sure.
Hell yeah. No, I'm so excited for this album.
Yeah.
And I'm going to the summer school tour with Stand Atlantic, Home Team, Scene Queen, and Honey Revenge. I know there's one more band on there, and forgive me, I don't remember, but I am so excited for that show. Yeah. But Jake, take it away. What did you think of the song?
I'm a big fan of Polaris. I don't listen to a whole lot of Stand Atlantic. I have been more recently, especially because they kind of coincide with the home team, which you kind of made me start listening to, and I have.
Drop that in your ear.
Yeah, you dropped that into my ear. So they kind of fit in with that whenever I start listening to it. But Polaris I've been listening to for a while, ever since the
Pressure Tour.
Yeah, the Pressure
Wage
Tour.
War in 2019.
That's when I started listening to Polaris because I hadn't heard of them before. It was a really good feature for me because it's kind of like bridging the gap a little bit, kind of.
So do you listen to a lot of pop punk outside of like, now the home team? And I think you used to listen to some other stuff, but
not typically. I'm trying to broaden my horizons that way a little bit.
I'm proud of you for not only listening to heavy music.
I don't only listen to anything. That's the thing. Like if I find something that I like, then I like it. I don't stick to one thing.
I will say I didn't expect you to like the home team. When I try to get you to like them, I was like, it's probably just gonna go in one ear and out the other.
It grew on me.
Yeah. I gotta give this song another 4 out of 5. I think I really enjoyed this song. Blake?
Yeah, I'd give it a 4 out of 5 too.
4 out of 5
4
for you? Hell yeah. 4's all the way around. What is that, Jake?
Good song.
All right. Let's shift gears here a little bit. I've decided something. I'm not going to talk about the new Bill Murray song
Why
today
not?
because the album comes out in 2 days. It comes out in 2 days. And all right, let's take a vote. Do we talk about it?
Hold on, I'll sum it up. It's a banger. It's always a banger. All right, we can move on.
He to be fair, I will say, I was a little disappointed when he announced it as a single. I was like, a week before the album, and it's such a good song. It's one of my favorites. He's ever.
Oh, so you had a hot take on Twitter, Blake. What was it?
What, that was his best song to date?
Yeah. I saw that post before I heard it, and I was like, holy shit.
He would save it for the record so I could see people's reactions, but the reactions would be good anyway.
Yeah. And for anyone here that doesn't know, check out Blake's review on Twitter of... Is that the best place to find it, is your Twitter?
Yeah. Just go to my Twitter and switch.
Because you wrote a whole essay about this album.
Yeah, I try to fit it on a page, So you just go to my page and search up Bill Murray or American Motorsports. It should pop up.
Bill Murray is essentially another member of this podcast. I need you to understand.
Oh, yeah.
Every episode he comes up in some capacity, and we're actually doing a fun project this weekend, which I'll give you more details on later after the call, that has all Bill Murray influence on it. But we are so excited. I think this is our most anticipated album right now. Yeah.
It's my fault.
It's a doozy.
Yeah,
I started this.
I got him into the home team. He got me into Bill Murray, and
they're
haven't gone
both
back.
both bangers. Home team's up there for one of my most anticipated too.
Yeah.
So
So yes, the song is amazing. It is your personal favorite song by the project, by Johnny Frank himself.
That chorus, man.
And
Again.
I'm reserving my opinions for when the album comes out because it is such an integral part of that record.
I agree. Fair enough.
So we're going to move on to a song that is not probably expected for us to talk about, but I love Post Malone. So we're going to talk about the Post Malone, Blake Shelton, Pour Me a Drink. Jake, you are the country man.
Why am I the country man?
Because
I was raised country, but I've kind of shied away from it. I don't really keep up to date with anything country.
What was the first thing out of your mouth when I played it in the song when we were parked at the movie theater?
I was like, oh, Blake Shelton.
You said, and I quote, I hate Blake Shelton.
Now. It used to be everything that was on the radio back in, I don't know, 2005.
The song, what did you think of the song, Jake?
I mean, I'm going to say it. It's a good song. I say that all the time. That's every time you ask me, that's the only thing I can come up with.
Because it's not a bad song.
It's not a bad song. I'm not a huge fan of Blake Shelton anymore. I love Post Malone. And when they did their harmony, it was good.
You liked their voices together.
Yes.
Okay. Blake, what was your first impression of the song when you heard it?
Honestly, I'll be straight up. I'm not the biggest country guy, but clearly throughout this year, with like obviously like Bill Murray stuff and Post Malone switching, I'm like checking out more like. I think Bill Murray's going to be my gateway into country, which is kind of weird, but I love the first single, the one with Mark Wallen. That's a certified banger. This one I'm like fine with. Like it's good, but I don't know, hasn't like hit me yet. It's fine, you know. It's catchy.
Okay. Pour Me a Drink is a certified banger. Like it doesn't matter what genre of music you listen to, that song is great. This song is definitely more aimed at the stereotypical modern day country, I think, than the last single. And I think that's all it is. I think it is a song that comes on the radio in the summertime that you have in the background and have a good time.
They're definitely radio songs.
Like
sure.
It's a summer tune too.
And it's gonna get played on multiple channels. Like that's something that's gonna get played on country stations, like newer pop stations. It's going to be a pretty wide. I think it's those two songs are going to be overplayed. I think
it's going to get played by a lot of Bluetooth speakers on a beach. That's for sure.
If you go to Smith Mountain Lake near us, you're going to hear it from somebody's boat.
Yep. And I will say, I'm going to assume you haven't seen the video, but you can correct me. It's a Bud Light commercial with Post Malone.
Post Malone's been to Bud Light commercials, man. He always has Bud Light. That's jokes, though.
Yeah. I love Post Malone so much. Protect him at all costs. This song was I could take it or leave it, I think, overall. I'm going to give this song a 2.75, I think.
I think I'll give it a flat 2.
Flat 2. Okay, we're going below half. What about you, Blake?
Probably give it a 3. I do have a question for you, though. Have you seen Post Malone?
I have not, but I would love to.
You should.
Have you seen Post Malone?
Yeah, I saw him last year. They played at the Budweiser stage here, and I literally went on. Second tickets went live, and I got 2 lawn tickets. It was like $50.
Oh hell yeah!
It was a steal, and
I've heard he sounds great live.
It's incredible. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it, man. He has a full band. It just sounds so good live. Yeah, you should.
That's awesome.
And now he's doing the country tour. Is he coming near you guys?
I didn't even know he announced a tour, to be honest with you.
Yeah, the F1
He probably
tour.
is, though. Okay, all right.
I think it was just announced on Monday or Tuesday, I believe.
You gonna risk our internet?
Oh no.
Jake picked up his phone. I was
gonna look it up. I was like, wait, no, we're using that. Okay.
I assume it will be near us because we're both near Northern Virginia and North Carolina. So probably have a date in there somewhere.
Yeah.
The question is can we afford it?
Yeah, if it's a place
honestly,
big enough where like a lawn, like he said, if there's a big enough amphitheater where there is lawn seating, that's more feasible.
Yeah, the venue you played at.
I'm going to take that recommendation.
The Budweiser stage here, with the lawn, I always get lawn seats. The seats suck. Sure, you got a bit of a closer view, but the lawn's the highest point, and it's just so big, and you can just chill, and it's just a much better vibe up there, you know? I always get lawn seats.
Would you feel the same way for metalcore? Would you want to sit in lawn or would you want to be closer?
No, it depends. At that venue specifically, I would always go lawn. Or if I really loved it, Slipknot or something, that I might try to get pit. You know what I mean? But I'm more I'm a hang out the back kind of guy at the shows. You know what I mean? So being at the front, I'm not really fussed about. You know.
Well, you heard it here, folks. Blake's officially recommending you go see Post Malone. You will not be disappointed. Is there any support announced? I'm just curious. Did he announce a bunch of country supporting acts?
No, but it is confirmed. He's on the tour poster. It says it's going to be a bunch of country songs. So.
Okay. All right. All right. So the song that I'm most excited to talk about today is the new Memphis May Fire song, which is called
didn't write it
Did
down.
I not write it down?
Yeah,
Oh my!
did you?
Strike two.
Paralyzed.
Paralyzed by Memphis May Fire. All right, so before we talk about the song in the video, I need to ask you something, Blake, because Jake and I sat down and watched the video right before we started recording. Is there a certain album that came out recently that you feel like kind of sounded like it could have, like this song could have been on that record but sung by different people?
This is a wage
All
war
right,
joke.
I'm going somewhere with this. This is a wage war joke.
Right? Yeah. I mean,
Dude, holy shit.
Since they started working with Cody, like, yeah. But
Well, and
I'm not
I
complaining.
didn't know Memphis May Fire worked with Cody.
yeah, they started working together with Remade in Misery, their last record.
It's funny because I didn't know that, but it makes sense. And I was joking to him. I was like, I'm going to pull up the credits. Watch, it's Cody was a part of this song. And sure enough, he was.
Yeah, you could tell.
It just sounded like a song that was written with Cody.
You could always tell, man.
Apparently, there's a whole playlist on Spotify now of all the songs that Cody has been a part of making because there's just so many at this point.
Oh, he's hopping around the scene, just writing for peeps.
Your dog looks like he's having a good time.
Sorry, man. Go on.
No, it's fine. We love dogs.
Speaking of, but yeah, he's hopping around the scene, man. He's helping. He's doing a lot of co-writes recently.
Dude, him and Tyler Smith from Danger Kids. They're both getting into every other band. It's great.
Yeah.
I loved this song. I thought that this song was just exactly what I wanted from Memphis May Fire. They went a little heavier this time on this track, and I think I appreciated that because they are such a melodic band here lately, especially on Remade in Misery. I was thoroughly happy with this song. What were your thoughts, Blake?
Yeah, I loved it. I've always been a big fan of Memphis May Fire, but obviously they had their slow phase there with like This Light I Hold I didn't really mess with, Broken, and then Remade in Misery is just bangers. And so this whole, people can knock them for being octane core or like generic, but I don't know, man, this is kind of like the ideal generic metalcore, you know, like this is it done well, and I'm absolutely loving it.
Yeah, I don't really agree with people usually calling it generic. Like,
Well, I mean,
if it's a good song, then like, if it works and it's good, you don't really have to call it generic.
Here's the thing. Wage War, Memphis May Fire, Of Mice and Men to a degree, right? Those are some of the people that started the whole generic octane core sound, okay? So when they make a song that people would consider to be generic metalcore, I don't give a fuck that it's generic, or like I just enjoy it, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean,
Not everyone's gonna push envelopes every single time.
I mean, what?
You don't need to push envelopes, man. Like, there's so many great bands that like aren't pushing anything, but they're just taking, you know, the fundamentals and just executing it at like a degree no one else is, which is cool. Polaris is one of those.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, sure, you can have like the generic, like riffs and breakdowns, but like no one's doing a breakdown like a Polaris breakdown. Like, let's be real. You know what I mean?
No.
So like, I don't get the whole generic thing either, because like a lot of it is really fucking good. You know?
Now here's where I'll be a hypocrite here. When I listen to like something like the last Asking Alexandria record, we are going into the word generic works there too, but in a different way, right? Because we're more talking about dad rock. But we talked about this a few weeks ago. You can tell when an artist's heart is in something, and it's not just a job. And I'm not saying that Danny Warsnop is like, let me go to my day job so I can get home, and that's all Asking Alexandria is anymore. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
But when you compare these two songs, the Memphis May Fire song and like Asking Alexandria, right? That's probably a horrible comparison.
Yeah.
But you can hear how much effort they put into a song like Paralyzed or like any of Remade in Misery. And I have zero issues with it.
Yeah. To be fair, with the Asking Alexandria stuff, I know kind of swaying off topic a bit there, but like
That's
because
fine.
this is a pretty good comparison for what like the heart not being in it, because I know a lot of people dislike Asking Alexandria's new stuff, but to me personally, See What's on the Inside is like them being locked in, while the new one feels a bit soulless. Like they could do the dad rock
See What's on the
thing
Inside.
well.
Did that have the? Was See What's on the Inside the one with the Oh fuck! What was the lead single from that album?
Alone Again.
Help me get on track here. Alone Again. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I agree. That album was significantly better than their latest release.
They're hard rock stuff, but like they were just locked in. Like they were having so much fun on that, and you can like feel that. And that's what how I feel about Memphis May Fire's new stuff. Like it's fun, man, and they sound like they're like back in it. You know what I mean? Like it's just a good thing for everybody.
Yeah. What was the album after This Light, or the blue one? Is it This Light I Hold? What was the album after that? Broken.
Broken.
That was the biggest dip, I think, for Memphis May Fire, in my opinion. And it had nothing to do with it not being heavy. I just feel like it sounded more, let's get these songs out because we have a record deal to uphold. Whereas this Remade in Misery and then these two singles that have come out, it's definitely more like we're enjoying this again. We're enjoying the music we're making.
Yeah, and like a lot of people gave them slack for the whole like 11 singles or whatever, 10 singles or whatever for the last record. Which, number one, there was a pandemic, but number two, it just like goes to show how much effort like they actually put into each individual song. You know, because making every song a single isn't just like as easy as being like, hey, here's another single. They recorded music videos for all of them.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, sure, it's all in the same location.
Even though,
but
yo, you have to say that though. You have to like just a little jab there, right? With the music videos all being in front of the stack of TVs.
I mean, you play that on a playlist. You basically just got a live show in front of a stack of TVs. It's kind of cool. You know, like
yeah, it is dope. It's better than visualizers.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Fuck visualizers. No one wants them. Get them out of here.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give this song a 4.5 out of 5. Blake, where are you at with it?
I'd give it the same 4.5. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll give it a 4.5. It's pretty high.
Hell yeah.
hell yeah.
It is a good song.
Which is most of the songs that Cody from Wage War
Yeah.
is a part of
Very
making.
true.
Yeah, gee, what's the trend here?
All right. It is time for a moment that you and I, Jake, have been waiting for what, 4 months now?
Yeah.
This is his band. Wage
Big
War
Wage War guy.
he has all the merch for it. He is 100% the most Wage War guy I know. And
He's got to go first.
yeah, you have to go first. Even though I know you're not going to have a whole lot to say. Just what were you expecting from the singles? What did you get?
So from the singles, I was not expecting anything super great. My hopes weren't real high with it. I didn't really vibe with the singles too much. We had talked about the singles before with them not using Cody as much as they should in vocals.
Yeah, vocally.
And not using that, classic metalcore, like what I feel should be their sound.
Paralyzed by Memphis May Fire.
Yeah, that's their sound. There was, what was it, 3 or 4 songs that I actually liked
help you out
and
here.
would listen to,
Here's the
without
track
just
list.
going through the album. Yeah, so there was, about 4 songs that I would actually listen to out of the album. I don't think I'll actually sit there and play that album start to finish like I would some of their other albums, like Pressure.
Yeah.
Pressure reps.
Yeah.
I remember when they got shit for Pressure though too, which is so funny to me.
Yeah.
Overhated,
like-
man.
It's way overhated.
That album, when we saw that band on the Pressure tour, like I had just recently got into them. I don't remember how long you had been a fan of them, but I feel like it wasn't that long, right?
No. That was kind of like I feel like it was like a last minute show for us, wasn't it? And we were like, well, I've never really heard of these bands too much,
Yeah.
so we'll start listening to them. And like, shit,
We had never heard of Polaris
is
before
good.
that tour, and I was a huge Dayseeker fan. And what's funny about that, going off on a tangent here, At our show, Dayseeker maybe played to 50 people. They were the opening band on the.
Was that when they only had the first record?
Sleep Talk was out, or it was coming out.
Oh, Sleep Talk. Oh, true.
Yeah. And I loved every second of that set. That was the band I was there to see. But then Polaris and Wage War just blew my mind.
Yeah, I got into Wage War around the same time too. Pressure's the album that got me into them. With like Low and Who I Am, and yeah.
So we all got into Wage War at the same time. Continue.
So in that regard, I think we're all gonna have probably the same opinions about that.
Okay. Okay. Was there a highlight for you on the singles, or were you kind of just meh on all of them?
I was kind of just meh on all the singles. I think the absolute low point, I think, for me was Nails.
Yeah, no, I don't even want to talk about Nails.
Yeah, that one came out and I was like, this is not looking good, dog.
And again, I want to just preface this by, this is art, music is art, and we're all going to receive it differently.
Art is subjective. Yeah,
I am not shit-talking Wage War. You and I are trying to go see Wage War, even though they released what we probably are going to say is a mid-album.
And
they're gonna play the hits. Yeah, that tour is stacked. I love Throne now.
Yeah.
Yes, Throne is great.
That's a set.
So where I'm at with the record is I was surprised. I was pleasantly surprised because I thought it was going to be like not my thing whatsoever. After Nails came out, I had all but given up on this record. Cody definitely does not have enough time on this record in vocals.
Yeah.
I think it was, besides Magnetic, the single, I don't think he had vocals until Blur.
Yeah, and Magnetic really grew on me as far as the singles go.
It did.
Magnetic did grow on me. I think Magnetic is my favorite single.
Yeah.
Agreed.
When I first heard it, I hated it. But after I'd listened to it a few times, I was like, okay, this is not bad.
That's one.
You said you feel the same way?
Yeah, that's just one. You just like realize one day you're like singing it and you're like, I can't get this song out of my head. Yeah. It's an earworm for sure.
Yeah. So I'm going to take this track by track, and I just want to hear each of you give your opinions on the track. I'll start because I feel like I'm the only one that's going to be as strong on this song, but I could be surprised. The Show's About to Start is a fucking banger. And I don't care what anyone says. I don't care how corny people think it is. The whole wall to wall, side to side lyric at the end is the most hype shit to ever play in my car. Turn that shit up. Wake the fuck up. It's time to go to work. And I love that song. I don't care how corny it is.
It is a super good intro. Like it's a good way to kick the album off.
Yeah.
If only it wasn't followed by like the next couple songs.
I could do without the Corpse vocals in that track as well, because he does that a few times. There are a little bit of that, but doesn't matter. I thought it was great. Blake, what did you think about the intro track?
Honestly, yeah, same. It's not my favorite Wage War song by any means, but like I have no problems with it. Sure, the lyrics are a bit corny, like everyone's saying, like sure, but it doesn't really bother me. I think it's a pretty solid intro. And I think it's one of the better executed songs for like the ideas they were going with along the record. So it gets a thumbs up from me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we all kind of agree that this one is not one of the bad ones. This is one of the good ones.
It's not one of the bad ones.
Self-Sacrifice. Okay. This one is my second least favorite song on the album. I was not a fan of this song.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I think I've only actually listened to that one like twice. I listened through the whole album and then immediately I had my favorites.
So
that wasn't one of them.
It wasn't one of your favorites.
No.
All right. What about you, Blake? What'd you feel?
I quite enjoyed it. It was one of the standouts for me on like first listen for sure.
Interesting. Did you get new metal vibes from this song a little bit?
Yeah.
Like that was different from the rest of the album?
Yeah. Like I find a lot of the guitar work they're doing is different throughout the record. Like they're changing stuff up instrumentally. Mm-hmm. And I think Self-Sacrifice is just like a kind of cool display of that. You know?
And maybe that's one of the songs that will grow on me over time. But I think upon initial release, after hearing, 4 singles? Am I right in saying 4 singles, or was it 5? I don't even know.
I think it was 4.
I think it was 4.
I just wanted to hear Cody sing, because I was so worried that he was like just not gonna sing at all on the record, and I was fine with the show is about to start. Like I said, I really liked that song, but I was like, all right, now we got to come in and we have to have a great Cody part, and it just wasn't there. And maybe that's kind of diminishing my view of that song a little bit. So definitely need to keep listening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I definitely need to go through the album again and just dissect it a little more, because I haven't really had all that much time to just listen to it and actually just listen to it. I'm normally like focused on something else, like at work or driving somewhere.
I mean, you got to think too, though. We were on edge when this album came out.
Yeah.
Like we were not ready just to consume a piece of work. We were worried.
Yeah, we were worried.
We were scared. We wanted to like this album so bad. And I think that kind of hindered my first listen. So I was like, all right, what's this song going to sound like? Huh? And I want to just casually be able to listen to the record in a state where I'm not looking for anything specifically. I'm just looking for something to click. Yeah. So,
yeah, I feel like that's the same. I feel like that's a lot of people's experience, like going into this record, because Manic was so good, and I feel like that with the singles too, like Magnetic being the first single was kind of a weird choice. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But then, like, Nails came out, and I just think from the singles and with the expectation already set by Manic, I feel like everyone's kind of, excitement was kind of diminishing.
Mm-hmm.
And like, to be fair, when I went into the record, I like went in pretty open. I was like, I want to like this. I want the singles to like work better in the track list. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I tweeted exactly what I was thinking. That was a whole lot of nothing. I felt really nothing from a lot of these songs. Didn't evoke like any emotions out of me,
So let's pair Magnetic and Nails together for this conversation.
Okay.
We kind of already talked about Magnetic. It seemed like none of us really liked it when we first heard it, but it grew on all of us.
Yeah.
I love it.
And what did I say earlier in the show? All a song needs is a good chorus to be a good song. And this song is a prime example of that.
Yeah. To be fair, I do have my problems with it. Like, I think the breakdown in this song is so unnecessary.
Oh, totally.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
no, it does not need to be there.
This is kind of like where I start having my issues with it, because like with Cody, like you said, like Cody's been pretty pulled back on this record, and I think Magnetic is such a good song for him, and for them to like soften up, and they didn't want to like fully commit to it, and they just had to throw the breakdown in there. But like, I think, a softer bridge, or like someone else on Twitter mentioned a guitar solo, which I think would have been sick.
Yeah. I
like,
can see a guitar solo working way better on that song than that breakdown.
It's just there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And it's funny, I don't know if you got to watch the Octane performance they did when this album came out. They did like a 3-song like set on Live Octane or whatever.
Oh, true.
And when they did this song, Cody was backing vocals.
What?
Britton did like 90% of the vocals, and Cody was just there to harmonize.
What?
It seemed like there were a few parts where he sang, but I noticed like even on Cody's parts, Britton took lead. And I just didn't understand that move, because it was an acoustic set.
Cody's so good, man. Like, they need to utilize him more.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the whole fear that I had with this album. It's like, what is the move here? Why is he being pushed back, or is he stepping back? I don't know. Like, yeah,
we made jokes in a previous episodes that Cody, the ex vocalist of Rage War,
ex vocalist.
All right, so Nails. I didn't like this song.
Nah, I didn't like it at all.
I have nothing else to say about it.
Really? Not at all?
Mm-mm.
Like, I think it's okay, but I've said this many times. It feels like they're just trying to redo the song Manic and just not doing it anywhere as good.
I can see that.
Like, it feels the exact same. With, like, you have, like, the corpse vocals in the verse. You have the one riff that's carrying the entire thing.
The 808s.
Like, yeah, like, I don't know. It just felt too much like a rehash, but like just they didn't expand on it. Just didn't do it as well.
Yeah.
You know?
I also just thought that, and just to pause here for a second, I thought that the single choices were weird. Like, why?
Yeah, I agree.
The next song we're about to talk about is Blur. So I'm going to start that off by just saying, why the fuck wasn't this a single?
Yeah.
I even wrote it down in my notes for the podcast. I was like, should have been single. Like,
to be fair, it's the release single, right?
Yeah, because they put the video out.
Oh, yeah, because they did.
Video out the day of.
Yeah.
That's true.
So that's going to be the one going to Octane now, probably. But still, I think it would have been great as a pre-release single.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been better than Magnetic, I think. I think that if you're
totally
trying
agree.
to incorporate the new like corpse vocal 808s, like heavy sound, that's fine. I get that. Make Nails your lead single. But for your melodic song, I don't understand why it wasn't Blur. I'll never understand
Yeah,
that.
I feel like Magnetic would have fallen back into the album. Like, it would have blended in there a little bit better than it just being a single.
It works better in context of the album, too.
Yeah.
100%.
And I think it gives old Wage War
Blur's
fans
great.
something that they like will recognize.
Yeah. Though, again, I'm going to repeat myself. I feel like Blur didn't need the, like, genty riffs and the breakdowns.
Yeah.
I think it would have been great as kind of like maybe like a me against myself kind of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like, I feel like there's just, like, such a lack of, like, variety instrumentally.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
can
like-
see that. So I guess the question is too, it's like, is Blur actually this amazing, great song, or is it just a okay diamond in a rough? Because when I heard Blur, I was like, oh, hell yeah, that's Cody singing, I'm good. But in reality, if you compare it to Pressure, any song on Pressure, it's not really up there.
Yeah.
I think it's justified as being, like, you know, worthy as all of the other singles from other albums. Like, I think it's in the same discussion, you know? Especially if we have more time with it.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
I think it's just as good as, like, you know, Circle the Drain or something. Like, if we give it more time. Like, it's up there as, like, a good Wage War song to me, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. I'm just like, for me, that Blur was the first song I heard where I was like,
Oh, it's coming back around.
oh, it's coming back. Let's go.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
Agreed.
And I feel like if it was like a me against myself type of song, that would have made me even more ecstatic than I was. But art is subjective, right? Like, let's talk about Tombstone and Happy Hunting. Initial reaction for me for these songs was Tombstone was probably my second favorite single, even though I didn't really like most of the singles. I'd say that was the second one for me. And Happy Hunting was my least favorite song on the album.
I'd still have to stick with Nails being my least favorite. That one might take a second, but I don't know. I still feel like I need more time with it.
So Tombstone initially to me kind of reminded me of like Death Roll kind of vibe. Like that was that song on the record.
Just without the killer riff.
Just with not as good.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Harmonics.
Yeah, Ventromonics for sure. So in regards to these two songs, Blake, where do they fall for you on this record?
Tombstone, I like. Like, I wasn't, like, ecstatic about it, but the ending riff is juicy.
It is.
And it scratches an itch in my brain. And, like, I do like... Yeah, Tombstone was one of the ones I liked out of the singles a bit more, for sure. Not too fussed about Happy Hunting.
I think it
I
was
don't know.
boring.
I really... It didn't do a whole lot for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, that
kinda-
one was more of like a quick listen for me. I was like, yeah,
I'm probably not going to go back to this
probably
one.
not going to go back to that one. That wasn't one of the ones that I checked.
It felt like it was like trying to do like a high horse kind of thing, and it just... I don't know.
Didn't. Let's move on to what I think is the best part of the record. The last three songs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Holy shit, Hellbent is good.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love Hellbent. That is
great.
Hellbent's my favorite song on the album. I'm gonna say it. It was between that and the last track, but I think it's my favorite.
I think I'm still sticking with the last track being my favorite.
Which is
Hellbent is, I think, second place.
So is this how it ends? Is your favorite?
Yeah, unfortunately, that was how it ended.
Hellbent gave me that wage war love when I heard that song. I was like, this is it. This is what I want when I hit play on a wage war song.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And Cody sounded so good.
Yeah.
And like the use of the acoustic guitar parts in this song were so dope. Like it took it from just a stereotypical metalcore dad rock down song to just it made it good. I don't know. It's weird because when you have a podcast and you're a nerd like I am, it's like I should have so much to say, but sometimes it's just that song was so good. I loved it, and that is going to be the one I return to the most.
Yeah, I agree. It's probably my favorite's probably same as both of you guys. So
okay,
like Hellbent and is this how it ends? Hellbent's fantastic, man. Like that's kind of like what I want when I go listen to Wage War. You know, like it's just not enough of that on the record. You know,
yeah. And it's not even just Cody. It's not even the fact that it just has a lot of Cody vocals on it. It's just good.
Yeah.
It's like you said, it
song.
scratches that part of my brain that it just all makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. So In My Blood, I know that Blake, I don't think I've heard you talk about this song. I know that you said you were kind of like meh on this song.
Yeah, that's one of the ones I need to listen to and let it grow a little bit.
Okay. I like this song. It's probably one of my favorites. I would say third favorite if I had to just randomly guess. And I know it's not even a huge like. I know it's corny again. And I know it's a generic sounding song, but that chorus just is good. Like I love the way that Britton delivers his vocals on that chorus with Cody, and I enjoy that song quite a bit. Blake,
I'm with you. It's a good song. It was a grower for me. So I've listened to the album like quite a bit, even though I'm not like big on it, but I think it's an easy enough.
Isn't that what you do? Even if you don't like enjoy something on first listen, don't you listen to it a whole lot?
I've listened to this thing like probably like close to 10 times, and like because it's like half an hour, so like it's pretty quick. And Magnetic grew on me, so I was like, I need to give this like a fair shot to see how like where it goes. And In My Blood is one of the ones that grew on me heavily. The last 3-track run is sick,
fantastic.
Yeah.
If it was just like let's say you took a 4 or 5 song EP, Magnetic, Blur, and then the last 3 songs, it would have been like one of the best things to come out in metalcore this year.
It would have been definitely in the discussion, for sure.
Yeah.
So, do we have anything else to say about In My Blood? When we all kind of agree that it was a pretty good song, you just need to listen to it a little bit more.
Unfortunately, my music listening is impaired because I normally consume music at work while I'm working. And I'll just put something, if it was this, I would put it on repeat, but I've had a apprentice for the past few months.
Yeah.
So I have to pay more attention.
I'm on listen 5 right now, I think. So I'm about half of where Blake's at.
Yeah, I think I'm at like 3. I think I've gone through it like 3 times.
So the last track on the record, Is This How It Ends? Ever since this album's come out, I've already started confusing it with the closer track on, I think it was Pressure. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Will We Ever Learn? Is that Pressure or is that Manic?
No, that's Pressure. I think that's Pressure.
That's Pressure.
I have it open.
Pressure.
Yeah, it's Pressure. Yeah.
Okay.
Those 2 songs are so similar, and I love both of them. I was really happy with the closing track of this album. Obviously, it's my second favorite song on the record.
It's going to be my first favorite.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I kept going through the album when I did. I was like, because I would have stopped.
Yeah, because even for you, who you only maybe not even like half
the closer
album.
song can't be the best song. Yeah, it was. All right.
Yeah.
And for you, you're a person that's like, okay, I'm going to add these couple songs to the playlist. I'm not going to listen to the whole album again, probably, but these songs are huge in Wage War's catalog now for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't do it as often as I should. I need to just listen to it fully, and maybe it'll work a little better that way. I don't know.
Blake, what you think of this song?
Oh, it's incredible. They're always so good at closers. Like the one on Manic, I think is like one of their best songs ever. But
what was that song called again?
If Tomorrow Never Comes.
That's right. Yeah, that
Great
was a
song.
good one.
But yeah, this is fantastic too. Like this is just as good as the stuff on Manic, in my opinion. Like it's worthy. It's like on par.
Yeah.
You know.
All right, so we've made it to the end here. How do you rank an album like this, man? How do you even because you'd think that the bad songs or the songs that didn't work for us would bring our score down. And I mean, it has to, right?
But the good songs are so good.
But
the bad songs are so bad. I don't.
I'm going to put the spotlight on you first, Jake, because for albums, Blake, we do out of 10.
Out of 10?
Jake?
Cool.
Yep. Where are you at with this album out of 10?
I think I'm going to put it below the middle because I think there was more songs that I didn't like than I did like.
Okay.
So like a 4.5 as a full album.
4.5, okay.
And the songs that are on it that I don't like, I'm probably like Nails, I'll probably never listen to. I don't know.
So for the 4 songs that you do like, if that was just an EP, what would you give that?
Oh, that's a solid 8 or 9.
All right.
If I just take the songs that I did like and turn that into an EP, yeah, that's like an 8 or 9.
Okay. Blake?
I would give it like a 5.56.
Okay.
Like, I don't think anything here is offensively bad. I don't think any of these are bad songs by any means. But I also listened to this thing so many times and just came out the other side just not feeling anything. You know? It just does.
What was it that you said after your first listen where you were like, I don't even know how to start to talk about this thing?
Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't really invoke any emotions out of me. Outside of the really good songs. There is, highlights on it. But, I feel like I'm going to forget about this record in a few months. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately,
that's how I feel about
I
it,
will probably forget about this record, but I'll not forget about 3 or 4 of the songs.
Yeah.
I think Magnetic is going to eventually go out of my listening circle, even though I don't think it's a bad song.
That's true. I feel like in a month or so, there's going to be so much better music out.
There's been so much good music this year already. This year's been so
This year's been insane.
It's just going to get...
There's so much to listen to.
Stuffed down.
And there's just so much better music. Not to be rude. But
I mean, is pop punk winning this year? In a way?
Pop punk?
Yeah. Stand Atlantic, Home Team. I mean, maybe you don't categorize that as pop punk, but it's kind of like new age pop punk.
Stand Atlantic I put in the category just because they've been there. But even though they're not really doing that now. But I've been messing with a lot of lighter stuff this year. That's for sure.
I have too. Yeah. Even though Bring the Horizon dropped a banger of an album this year, and I guess that is lighter though still than Posthuman 1.
It's a lot lighter.
So
yes.
Album of the Year lists are going to be fun this year.
Yeah, what are some of your favorites this year so far? If you had to give 5.
I'm going to have to remember everything that came out this year. Do you have a list in front of you? Bring Me the Horizon is currently my number 1, I think.
Valid.
Home Team has enough songs out for their album to where I can say that that's going to be my 2 or my 3. Stand Atlantic's in the same boat.
There's Knock Loose, Alpha Wolf, Era, Boundaries.
I don't think Prada's releasing an album this year, but goddamn was Ritual good.
Yeah, they dropped the Ritual and then that Reasons for a second time.
Fuck me, Bill Murray.
Come on, man.
Bill Murray's up
It's on
there.
Friday.
Yeah, I'd say Bill Murray, Bring Me the Horizon, Home Team, Stand Atlantic. Those are my favorites.
Favorite albums of the year so far. Bill Murray. Galleons.
I need to check that out.
Violent Delights. Like Mouse of Flames, Cycles, Trying to Cope.
Okay, all right.
That's
That was a good one.
up there. That's a banger.
I need to check that one out. You've heard it?
That's their best record.
I've heard of
easily.
some of them. Yeah.
Okay.
That Era record's really good. Galleons, Bill Murray, Moths. Oh, know what? Knock Loose and Era. I've listened to all those quite a bit.
Are you put out like your album was like a top 10 or something at the end of the year? I forget.
Yeah, I do it. Yeah, I do an album of the year list and a song of the year list.
Awesome. Well, we're definitely going to be doing that as well.
Yeah, I do like top 12.
Top 12. Okay, that's a good number
Yeah,
for
man.
that.
Let's see it.
Wow.
Yeah, I do like 10 because like 10's hard, but 12 you can throw in some like before you do your honorable mentions, you just have some nice little call outs there.
For sure. Yeah, I agree. I think 12 is a good number. I think I've done 15 before. And I think I allowed us
Some
to
people do
include
so
EPs. I think that's why I did 15, is because we included EPs.
Oh, because you did it one less.
Yeah.
Oh, true. Yeah, I do one for song, EP, and then album. And the album of the year, like last year, I did it like through all of December
Okay.
or
All
something.
right.
Or the last few weeks of December, so it all lined up for the end of the year. But I think I'm going to do album cover of the year this year, too.
Sick. Oh, yeah.
Because we've talked about that before.
We have.
didn't
We've talked the artwork on the Heavy Music Awards when we were
Yep.
voting for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's some really good album arts this year. Like, I feel like I have to, give some call outs here.
I'm excited. We'll have to do some kind of collaboration at the end of the year, Blake, to compare our lists and stuff. That could be a lot of fun. I wrote down Dave Grohl, Taylor Swift.
Oh, God.
Has everyone here heard of this situation?
No, I have
Yes.
not. I haven't.
All right.
What?
So basically what happened was...
That's not on Twitter or what?
No, not really. I'm not.
No, he's not on Twitter. That's me. He leaves that up to me.
Fair enough.
I'm not even going to try and pull up the quote, but basically what happened was Dave Grohl was making a joke during a Foo Fighter show where he's like, this is the errors tour because we make a lot of errors on stage. And it kind of went off that for a few minutes. And Blake, you can fill in the gaps if I'm missing anything important. But then he basically said, but we actually play live music. People are coming after him. They're at his front door with pitchforks, like virtually.
Bloody Swifties, man.
Does anyone have any issue with Dave Grohl after hearing this? Here.
No. No.
Man's a god. What are you trying?
Dude, he is the
It's such a dumb thing to get upset over. Like, I get people are protective of their artists, and a lot of people do get defensive if you pull that jab.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's true or not, people just don't like that topic.
No.
But whether people do or don't, who cares, man? A show's a show. Performer's a performer. Like,
Yeah.
if she doesn't want to play live, she doesn't want to play live. She's the biggest artist in the world. Why would she? Who cares?
Well,
like,
was he trying to say that like her music has a lot of like tracks and she lip sings and stuff, or was he saying that she doesn't do a whole lot of shows?
I think he was saying that. Yeah, it's mostly backing tracks. That's it.
Like there wasn't a whole lot of whatever the case. It was funny as fuck. Who cares?
Like it's a
I'm
lot. It's a
pretty
lot
sure-
harder to pull a full band together and get all that to work than it is to play a backing track.
Yeah.
like, it's such a common industry practice. At the end of the day, though, like, who cares if she does or if she doesn't? Obviously, Swifties got super upset and got a little out of pocket with their reactions. But I don't know. From my understanding, they're like friends too. Like,
Yeah.
he just made a joke. Who cares?
And Dave Grohl is like
He, like,
known to be
she
one of the
helped him.
sweetest dudes in music. He's such a nice guy.
I bet you
Yeah.
her reaction was probably like, all right. And then everybody
And like,
else is
if
like,
you like look into it, there is there is more to the story with like his daughter and stuff, but at the end of the day, man, like I feel like nothing that like comes at Taylor Swift kind of justifies these reactions. Like,
no,
people criticize her and get like attacked for it.
No, there are people
Like-
threatening his family's lives.
Yeah, there's
like Dave Grohl's
nobody
family.
more out of pocket and way too protective than Swifties. I think that is top.
I've seen people like saying like using the drummer of Foo Fighters and like Kurt saying like, oh, he's the reason they killed themselves.
Oh,
Like, dark shit like
God.
that. I'm like, man, like why you have to like, it's so unnecessary.
Like
you know?
you people really live with no consequences, don't you?
It's I read that, and keep in mind these are probably people that don't even listen to Foo Fighters or Nirvana.
Right, but they'll
Like,
wear
who
the
cares?
T-shirt.
Oh yeah, they'll
And, like,
definitely
so-
have a Nirvana T-shirt for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know, man.
I didn't see that
I don't
one.
think it.
That comment.
Yeah, it was not. Emily showed it to me because it was like under her comments and something like that. But I don't know. Nothing he said justifies the reaction it's got.
No, and you see the way that Dave treats other artists like Billie Eilish, right? When she was coming up, and how much he supported her, and how much he supported a lot of artists. It's like, dude, come on. He doesn't have animosity.
I don't know. Like he's a good guy. Whether she's a good person, I don't really care. Like I can't say I don't know her, but
She's too famous
Yeah.
to not be a good person, right? Isn't that what everyone says?
I feel like,
Like,
the
I'm
more
sure- I'm
I feel
sure
like
she's
the
chill,
more
but-
the more famous you are, the less of a good person you are.
they got a little too protective. And like seeing people are gonna like throw out their CDs and stuff, which I hate those guys. Keep that shit to yourself, man. Nobody cares.
It's like when that the what's the Christian scene girl on Twitter got a hold of "Bring Me the Horizon" lyrics, and she said she was throwing out all of her CDs.
Fucking Melanie Mac,
Melanie Mac.
the gamer chick. Yeah. Oh my god.
her bio is like gamer and emo listener for God or some shit. I'm butchering the fuck out of it, but that's she's still active.
Every once in a while, she shows up on my timeline with some garbage
Same.
ass take.
Well, I think the closing thought here is that scene Twitter is an interesting place, even when it goes outside of the scene and into mainstream a little bit.
It kind of puts into perspective how like scene drama is just like within the bubble. And just how much worse it is outside of the bubble.
Yeah.
Once like normies start getting into it, and it's like, holy shit, man, settle down.
Right, and there's also a difference between like drama, like real drama, and then like Marcos from State of the Scene tweeting something that's just gotten everyone.
Yeah.
Like that's my shit. That's the shit I love.
Man's a menace.
He is
he's
coming to
hilarious, though.
destroy worlds.
He's hilarious, though. I love him. Jokes.
Yeah, just like when you tweeted out how much you hated Sleep Token, right?
Oh, Emily has a screenshot it too. She took my phone. That one's pretty funny though. I can't even hold it.
I still see so many people sharing that post around where it's just
I
remember.
she shared it. She shared it the other day because there was like a thread about like this tweet's been deleted, makes it funnier, and it does. It's jokes. I giggle every
Absolutely.
time she pulls it up.
Even though you're one of the biggest Sleep Token fans on Twitter that I've seen.
yeah.
That's what makes it so funny.
Absolutely. To be fair, I haven't really talked about them that much, just because, like, you know, their album's been out for a while, and now I'm on to, like, new shit. But once they start dropping music again, they'll become a whole personality again.
Hell yeah. Well, Blake, thank you again for coming on the show and enduring our technical difficulties. Hopefully, our listeners don't notice it that much, and it's as amazing as it's been having you. So thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. It was fun talking to you guys.
For sure. We'll have to work again in the future. I will, we'll talk again at the end of the year about end of year artwork, albums, stuff like that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it'd be real fun to compare lists.
Compare list would be fun.
Oh,
All right, Blake,
always.
take it
It's
easy.
Best time of year.
Oh yeah.
All right. Have a good night.
Bye.